And good morning. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and well, I'm broke now. But what happened was I hit a little Black Friday at Walmart, expecting to maybe get a few. They had a big sale on movies that were like I think $1.98 or cheaper, and they had a few other things there, and it was so crazy. They opened it. They were going to do they started their Black Friday actually on Thursday night at 10 o'clock. I got there about 9:30, and that first time I ever seen a Walmart parking lot packed. I walked in to the Walmart, and everything they were going to have on sale for Black Friday they had brought out on pallets and these great big huge square bound blue cardboard shelves, and they were wrapped in the cellophane plastic, and there was people actually touching what was going to be on sale after they cut the cellophane. They were all like wrapped up around them like on Velcro, and the aisles were just packed and packed. And found where the DVDs were, and I tell you what, that was just a nasty place to be in for a little while. They had just rows and rows. They just had this one great big huge row in the grocery section of nothing but like DVDs and Blu-rays and games. And as soon as they cut that first piece of cellophane, a couple boxes down, the place exploded. People were ripping things, and show you what I ended up surviving and getting. And like I said, I am just definitely so I shouldn't have done it. Okay, for less than, see if we can get the glare off there. Alright, Emerald Knights. I got this off of Netflix. Wasn't real impressed, but for $2 I can probably sit down and watch the whole thing again. All-Star Superman, based on the Grant Morrison. This was excellent. I got home and watched it last night. Fell asleep towards the end, where it was just so late. But excellent. I was really pleased with it. Got Batman Year One also a couple weeks ago, and they're just hitting on all cylinders the best they can with these comic book adaptions. The stuff they're leaving out, I guess I'm alright with it. This was pretty faithful. Excellent. Okay, this was the only one they had of these. That's why I got sort of nervous there, because I was able to kind of look in some of the boxes before they cut the cellophane at Walmart. This was the only one they had of season 5 of Supernatural. I got it and really pleased with it. Watched the Ghostfacers webisodes. I'm probably going to be doing a video on Supernatural here. I've already did. I did one last week. Didn't post it because I just was not pleased how it came out. But if you're not watching Supernatural, I recommend the first 5 seasons. If you want to take a chance on the show and not sure, if you want to commit, because the first 5 seasons is one long story arc. And the great thing about this show is that every few weeks this thing pays off. This is not like Lost, where you have to wait for years for the payoff. Okay, I recommend season 3 if you want to jump in there and see what's going on with it. Okay, a couple months ago, got really low on money, as I'm sure a lot of people are these days and stuff. And it broke my heart because I had to sell a bunch of DVDs, and the Big Bang Theories were the ones to go. Sadly, I ended up selling the first 3 seasons for $25, and that's okay because things came back around. These were really cheap. When I bought them the first time around, I traded in DVDs and probably paid $6 a piece for them, but I gave up a bunch of DVDs. Second time around, we got season 1, season 2, season 3. Now, as you can tell, the promo at Walmart, to help you with the prices, they're all color coded. That's why there's no real price on it, but I don't know which hand to use here. Anyway, they're color coded, right? This came up for $5. This is season 4. This came out a few months ago this year. I haven't seen this sucker cheaper than $34, and I've seen it as high as $45, and I got it for $5. So basically, for what I paid, it's like I got all of these seasons for what one season set would be, and cheaper. $5 this thing came up. They let me have it. I couldn't believe it. Alright. Like I said, I'm broke. So, earlier in the month, went and hit the comic book shop again, and apparently if I order comics, I might as well just take my time because they'll eventually get them. They never pulled them the first time for me, so I get to catch up on my Omac. And we got a little bit of an Omac theme going on here. Alright, number 3 and number 2, they're out of order. Okay, now these apparently are the, I'm going to stand by what I said. I don't expect Omac to really stick around longer than a year. Dan Didio is the boss, so maybe you know, he can probably keep it going as long as he wants, I would imagine. Which is sad because this is a great book. This is not your Watchmen. This is not your sophisticated storytelling. This is, in my opinion, the best Marvel book to come out in the last 10 years, and I'll stand by that. Just a lot of fun, a lot of slugfest. Got that Kirby style going on that everybody likes. Okay. Number 3, cannot wait to read about this. And I understand Maxwell Lord has turned around and have got Chickmate and Cadmus mixing it up. And I just really got a feeling they are building up to something from Animal Man. I haven't read them, but I've watched everybody's reviews online. And, you know, we got Animal Man and Swamp Thing appear to me to be building up to something. Omac's going to be crossing over with Frankenstein here in a few months with issue 5. So we're slowly getting a little universe here. And I do want to make the prediction that we're going to find out that a bunch of these books are actually taking place in Earth 2. I think we have 2 Earths going on. But moving on here. Now, I did not get this for a quarter. I got this back in the 80s when it came out. And here's why it's significant. Everybody that is talking about Keith Giffen, loving the Kirby stuff that he's done on Omac, you know, it's not the first time he's done it. We have Star Brand number 9 here from 1987. And Giffen popped over there and they let him play around a little bit in their toy box at Marvel. And I loved this one because this is Star Brand, and a bunch of the New Universe titles were starting to get canceled, and they were getting ready to kind of revamp it to save the line. You start out with your typical Giffen art, which I've always had a problem with to a certain extent. And the guy Starbrand, Ken O'Connor here, is O'Connell. Yeah, anyway, his friend's a psychiatrist, and he's telling him he's all messed up about a few things. So he sends him to, you know, little kids sitting there collecting comics. Anyway, he's sitting there and he's messed up about a few things, about using his powers and everything, and something's bothering him. So he sends him to this dream therapy place, and that's where Night Mask pops in. So, he doesn't realize, but they put Ken asleep. Night Mask walks in. That's the guy with the crescent moon scar. Enters his dreams, and we are in the Kirby universe. And to me, Giffen is channeling more Kirby than Kirby in this book, especially than what he's been doing in Omac. And basically, there's your bad guy going around. Ken Connell kind of sees himself as a Captain Victory / Orion. You know, he's having, and basically Ken Connell, this little boy's died, and he's having some guilt issues with it, so he's a sidekick to Ken Connell in this comic book world. Now, for you guys that don't remember New Universe or too young to know, you knew Universe was supposed to be in the real world. This ended up being the blueprint for Valiant Comics. Here we go. Channeling more of that Kirby. So, you know, when he popped up and was doing Omac, I was not that. Little Kirby Crackle with a little Giffen popped up. He's having to face himself. So. And then we're back to the quarter comics. I already had these, but I couldn't pass them up for a quarter. This is the John Byrne Omac Prestige series that he did around 1991. They were $3.95 when they came out. $4.99 Canadian. Since we have it lined to Canada here. And Jack Kirby, John Byrne was a little bit crushed because Jack Kirby did not like this series. But maybe I'll put these up for a prize. I got 1, 2, and 4. And that's the thing about this comic book store where I've been getting them. There's something about number 3 issues. They never have number 3s and 4. Okay, great stuff. Before we move on to Omac, let me show you something. that I really can't believe I'm showing before I finish, but I can't find any India ink around here, so I can actually finish it. I found out a big difference between Kirby and Frank Miller doing this. I'm such a Omac Kamandi nut. I took this ad that came out where you could 1,200 people could subscribe to the Dark Knight Returns and get it to their to their house. I mean, this is kind of cool because people didn't realize they saw history in the making here. You know, you're looking at that and you're like, you know, you're looking at the price. They were $2.95 when they came out. This is when comics were 75 cents. So I remember being a little outraged. I'm like, oh, come on, you know, when they just put it in their series, and who knew, you know, who knew. So I took that and I started working on this, and hopefully this will show up. The one-man Army Corps returns, Kamandi and Omac as you've never seen them, and I'm far from done. I hope to make this look better when it inks. We can get it inked. But a little project I've been working on. Here's what I found out. I started trying to do this a little bit of a Kirby style, and still try to get the Frank Miller poses, and I discovered a little, you know, maybe an artist kind of thing. I haven't drawn in years. I actually used to teach Art 1 in high school when I was in Art 4. But what I found out is you can't draw Kirby style with a character just standing there. When it comes to Kirby, everything is in action. That's why it pops. He has a few profiles here of talking heads, but they're always angled, or you're getting a profile and it's still dramatic. Frank Miller, you know, by no means a hack or anything like that. When you try to reproduce something of his and put a Kirby style on it, it's pretty weak. Kirby is action and does not work static wise, so take that, Frank. You know, sorry. Come on back to the quarter comics. Alright, got number 5 of this. This came out in the 90s, 95, 96. This is Grant Morrison and Mark Miller doing Skrull Kill Crew, number 5. Very few issues of this came out, and here's the whole premise. Fantastic Four number 3 back in the 60s. I think it's what Skrulls popped up. Skrulls were shape changers. Fantastic. Reed Richards with his, it shows he has some kind of sense of humor when you think about it. Captured the Skrulls, hypnotized them, made them turn into cows, stuck them in a field. Well, the Skrulls got put out of the field by the government, put back in, and got slaughtered. And the people who ate the hamburgers that were made out of these Skrull cows either died or got a virus or got real sick, kind of like, you know, I think mad cow disease might have been hitting or something there. So, but these few people ended up being able to shape change and can see the Skrulls around us even when they're in, you know, they've shape changed to look like something else or someone else. And they're all slowly dying. It's actually like a virus that's triggered their mutant gene or something. Offbeat, and it's Morrison in the Marvel Universe, and I'm surprised they let him, you know, get by with what he did in this. I always get awful artists with Grant Morrison. Captain America, cannot pass this up for a quarter. This book has never been read. I mean, this is a near mint copy of the first appearance of D-Man. And D-Man was a character who was in a wrestling federation in the Marvel Universe, and everybody had you know, super strength that was in this wrestling federation. And a lot of people got their powers from the Power Broker. So this all got started in the Thing series of the 80s, but this is where a character from that series got turned into D-Man. And from what I understand, he's popping up in the Revengers, or have already popped up. Okay, I figured why not for a quarter. I'm starting to get a lot of these miniseries collected. Marvel Zombies 3, number 3, number 4. So maybe I got 3 out of 4 of this one. Greg Land came out and did a bunch of really great covers. Number 1 of 4. Mobius and the Werewolf, Son of Satan. I want to say that looks like, I know who that is. That might be Valkyrie. I'm not sure at the bottom. So they're tapping the 70s there. Marvel Zombies 4. Number 2 of 4. You know, great covers at least. Captain America Reborn number 1 for a quarter. I now have this whole miniseries, and I cannot believe I got this for a quarter. They had taken the number 1 of this out of the quarter bins and had a whole bunch of them in a box where I think they were charging $5 to $10 for it. and they were damaged and ripped. So imagine my surprise when I'm going through there and I find a, you know, really great cover, a little bit of stress on it. Ed Brubaker, Brian Hitch, Butch Juice, Return of Captain America Reborn. So I have all that. And had to absolutely just had to grab this. I've already got one of these. But this is the wedding issue, Hulk 418, that Rick Jones and Marla get married. And there's a bunch of villains popping up. Now, quickly, gatefold cover. And you Sandman and Death fans pop up. This comic book picks up right after 417, where Rick Jones and some of the superheroes decide to have a little bachelor party, and they put on a stag film, and they find out the star of the stag film is the bride, so he's all upset. Before that, I think Rick Jones' mom or somebody came in who was psychotic, and she ended up stabbing Marla, and she almost died. So after she finally gets married, after Mephisto and everybody pops up in the Mighty Marvel, you know, action, this book kind of took off because they snuck in a little character there. Marlo's like, "Who invited you? Who are you?" And it's Death from the Endless DC Vertigo character. Has a little talk with Marla, tells her we'll meet again, and gives her a present. They hide her ankh so they don't get sued. And down there they give her a present. It's a brush. And when this came out, everybody did not get it. Why did she get a brush? Well, it's a brush with death. Ha ha ha. And I just want to show you who was performing the ceremony when they got married. Peter David. So that is just a fun book. I cannot, you know, for a quarter. And we got the Cult number 3. Jim Starlin has really been popping up in my collection a lot lately. This is Cult book 2. It's for a quarter. I read this back in the day. And I tell you what, I was really starting out disappointed. This was like, listen to me. This book, you know, it seems like Berni Wrightson had changed his style a whole lot. There wasn't not a whole lot of shadows going on. It's out, it's bright, it's white. I'm like, what are they doing? They used, I mean, you know, they were trying to get grim and gritty, and you could tell they were trying to tap Year One and the Dark Knight since they just hit. Everybody was getting over it. And I'm like, this is just not impressed me with Berni Wrightson. Batman gets all paranoid and everything. They're using the newscasters to tell the story like they did in, you know, the Dark Knight, and I was just, you know, that's why I didn't pick up the title. Well, years later, now that I'm back, it paid off, because what Jim Starlin did is that he waited to let Berni be Berni as a climax to the film. We have Robin in the water surrounded by rats. We're back in the shadows. He's getting attacked by rats in the sewer. I mean, Berni, he just waited to let Berni be Berni. I mean, very happy with this. Maybe I'll pick up the rest of them. Alright guys, thanks for sticking in there. Went longer than I thought. Have a great weekend. Maybe another video here in a little while. Later.